regarding the great news about the release of 20,000 totuabas into the wild, we are here with biologist Ezequiel Benitez Diaz, General Director for International Cooperation and Implementation of CONABIO. CONABIO is the scientific authority of Mexico for the CITES Convention. Ezequiel, Mexico proposes the registration of an aquaculture farm under CITES resolution about captive breeding of Appendix 1 species for commercial purposes. Could you provide your opinion on the registration application and the guidelines to qualify?
Yes. In the case of Air Ocean Farms, Mexico submit the registration of this facility that reproduce totuaba, an Appendix 1 species of fish endemic to Mexico, in order to have a massive production of this species for commercial purposes. In this way, and fulfilling all criteria of CITES Convention, CONABIO, as the scientific authority, has verified that fulfills all requirements of resolution on captive breeding, which includes the legal provenance of parental stock, the proper management of individuals, the capacity to reproduce second generation of these specimens in such a way that there is no or there is any detrimental impact to wild populations of this species. It's been working for a number of years and also is contributing to conservation by releasing every year thousands of specimens into the wild in order to help the species to recover in wild populations. The resolution of CITES for registration of Appendix 1 species for commercial purposes includes a number of requirements like legal provenance to fulfill the definition of captive breeding, the origin of the parental stock, productivity, mortality, the facilities, feeding, and appropriate treatment of all specimens, including marking, using genetic indicators to differentiate between those specimens devoted for conservation and reintroduction purposes from those who are devoted to commercial purposes. So there is a very clear way to differentiate the different stocks. And what is very important is that all requirements of this resolution are more than adequately cover for this in order to get the registration.
Do you consider that legal trade of farm-raised totuaba can help conservation of the vaquita porpoise?
We believe that any effort that can reduce pressure on wild populations of totuaba, in particular on the area where the vaquita occurs, is worth. In this case, we're talking about a facility that is more than 1,000 kilometers outside the natural distribution of vaquitas. So the massive production of specimens of totuaba and the legal trade can, in one hand, reduce the price in the illegal trade of totuaba, and also to reduce the pressure of fishing in the core area of the Zona Zero, as it's called, that is the boat for conservation of vaquita. So we're facing a very difficult situation of illegal fishing. But by providing legal specimens of totuaba through aquaculture, in general, it represents a very good opportunity for development for local people, as well as a way to have a legal, sustainable, and traceable trade that can help the species of totuaba and also in some way vaquita. This will not solve the whole issue of vaquita. It's a lot of efforts that are needed to properly cover to save the species for the extinction, but this is an innovative way to help. And the Mexican government is supporting these ideas, and Air Ocean Farms represents one of many farms that are already operating in Mexico, and what we want is to have a legal alternative to reduce pressure on wild populations of totuaba and covering all requirements of CITES Convention.